Hey, hey.
Hey, how are you?
Coming in
Hi.
hot, man. I literally just walked in the door like 5 seconds ago. I'm like, I got 5 minutes. Kids are on fall break, so I was like, I had to drop my daughter off at tutoring, and then I had to stop at the grocery store because I'm like, they need something to eat during the day, and then traffic. So I was like, I literally just got home like 10 minutes ago.
I'm gonna switch devices probably
Yeah,
in
you're
about
fine. I'll let you back
15,
in.
20 minutes.
Sure.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. Trying to take this nail polish off. I'm looking crazy. Took my nails off last week or on Friday because I was like, every time I go to softball practice and I try to practice and play with them, I break a nail. I'm like, what's the point of having them? Just take them off. Wasting money. All right. I'm gonna give it a second, let a couple more people on, and then we can get started.
I trust people who only have partial nail polish on because it tells me that you do a lot of stuff, you know?
Yes. And that's like what happened is, so I got them taken off. And of course, your nails are all jagged and whatnot from having them on forever. She was like, well, do you just want a manicure? So I was like, go ahead. If you're going to smooth them out and do all that, just go ahead. But the nail polish lasts like 3 days. So I was like, it's time for it to go. Um, but yeah, I was like, it was pointless to continue to have nails when I'm coaching two softball teams and practicing and playing, and every time I go to do something, throw a ball, it cracks. So
Yeah, and
Hi.
that's an intense pain.
Yeah.
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, they gotta go. At least for a couple months until softball season's over. And then maybe in the holidays we can go back to it. But usually I'm pretty good. I've had them for years, but usually I'm pretty good about them not breaking. But the past two times they've broken, and I was like, okay, enough. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give it another second and we can go ahead and get started. Of course, today we are talking about Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. Vedo. I haven't read a book of hers in a long time since Poet X. So I was happy to be reading her again, although this is very different from that. Um, I liked it though. I think it was a slower read for me for her in comparison to the other ones that I've read. But it's still, once you got into the meat of things and started to figure out who's what's what, it got more entertaining for me. What were y'all's general thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. I read all of her books in chronological order. I agree with you. It was kind of for me slow. I started reading it and then I found myself doing Audible and reading at the same time. But once I got into the hang of it and I figured out what character was what, because I had to keep going back to the beginning of the book, like which sister? But then I finally got okay. So we got Matilda, we got Pastora. Like I started to learn their stories. I became so invested and I was like cheering for some of the sisters, for others. I'm like, ugh, you
Yes, get out
know,
of this
but-
mess.
right. But I really enjoy it and I know she is a young adult author, but I hope she decides to make more novels for just regular adults. I
Yeah,
It was a really good debut for her.
I
Yeah.
agree. And I felt like after listening and reading, because I do them simultaneously, but after listening to Poet X, I was like, I probably will never read a book of hers without listening to the audio just because her voice is just, I mean, Poet X is just poetic in itself, right? So
Mhm.
it's just like you have to listen to that one in audiobook form. But this one definitely helped push me to read it more by listening to it. With the audiobook because there's just a lot going on these families. So, um, any particular characters that you guys loved more than others? I'm looking at my list because I had to write notes to like keep all of these sisters together. I'm trying to think.
Uh,
I really like Matilda.
Mhm.
Me too.
I was rooting for her. Like I was just like, man, can you just get out of this mess with this man, please?
Man,
'Cause
what?
You seem like such a nice lady. Like, just get out of here, please. But yeah, I really
Yeah. The pregnant girl storyline. Yeah, that was a lot going on right there. I was like,
Oh my goodness, when the pregnant woman went in her sister's
store.
store,
Yeah.
girl.
Lost it.
Now what her sister did is something that I would do. I'm sorry. I would have been just as like, oh, okay, well,
We
sorry
ain't got
for
no
you.
water
You go
here.
to the next door.
No water, no
exactly.
working toilets, none of that. You on your
Yeah,
own.
I don't have nothing for you, ma'am. Go to the next store.
Oh gosh, I was
Uh,
I
rooting for
enjoyed
her
it
and
overall.
the young man.
Ona and Jeremiah. I'm like, there's so many different. There was or Yachty and Anthony. There was that couple too, where Anthony's the one that got out of jail, right?
Yeah, I meant the sister whose husband was awful and the little
Oh,
dancing partner. That's who I was
Matilda.
rooting for.
Yes.
Oh, was his name
I'm
Calvin?
not gonna remember any of those names.
Rafa, I think his name was.
Rafa was the husband. Was Calvin
Oh,
the
the guy that came in at the
With
end and she
K.
was, yes. There's so
Yeah.
many damn names, but yes, I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about now. It's hard to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it though. There was just, like you said, so many different parts, and then kind of figuring out what was unique about each one of the sisters. And then again, trying to figure out why Floor is like bringing all of these people together for this wake, this living wake. It was a lot. It was a
I
lot.
like Floor just because she's gonna do what she's gonna do, and I just
Mhm.
appreciate that. I mean, misguided or whatever you want to call it, she's gonna do what she's gonna do, and I feel like she's like a fierce protector, and
Yeah.
I like that about her.
Yes.
I like the book overall. I thought Camille, is it Camille or Camille? I can't remember.
Camilla. Yep. Camilla.
Her story was rather interesting with her getting pregnant by somebody else.
Yeah.
And the husband's just all okay with it. I was like, is he gay? Like, is this why he never slept with her? And
I
he
was
was
trying to figure
okay
that.
with the
Yeah.
child. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to figure
I'm
that
pretty
out. It's like
certain
he
that
didn't
was
want
it.
anything to do with her. It's just kind of like, I'm with you out of convenience.
Right.
Do your thing. And then it's like, oh, she gets pregnant by somebody else. And it's like, oh, yay, they're having a kid finally. Like, not really,
I
but
think
whatever works.
I think the tell that he was gay without her just saying it was when they tried to sleep together and he just had no reaction.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Mhm.
I'm telling y'all without telling y'all that
Right.
this is what was up. Yeah.
Ain't feeling it.
Yeah.
I think she was the only sister I wish I would have known more of her story. Like,
Mhm.
they didn't talk that much about her. I get she was the younger sister. All of them were out. I mean, they talked a little, but I just, when the book ended, it just left me like, okay, so what happens with her? Does she continue just to sleep in with the hotel manager?
Right.
Like, what? You know, I just put that
Yeah,
story.
because at that point, her sleeping with the hotel manager was back in the Dominican Republic, right? That's where she was
Yeah.
from, right?
Yes.
So she
Yes.
was living
Yeah.
in New York with them at the end of the book. Like she eventually moves to New York as well. So my thing was, well, how did the husband, like, he died, right? So what?
Wait,
You know,
Camilla's
and
husband
what
died?
was
Mhm.
I'm pretty certain, yeah, the husband died. So I wanted more, like you said, more to her story. Like, okay, well, how did he die? Did he ever come out? Which is what I'm
Right.
assuming. Like, yeah, I would agree with you. Like more of her story.
Also liked Ona and her magical vagina. I was just like, that was interesting. Like, how she could tell things and feel things, and it's just like, oh, okay.
It was
mean,
an alpha vagina.
yeah, yes. Yes. Yeah, they were all very interesting. I love seeing books that write the different chapters from each character's perspective. Although when you get it kind of like Black Cake, when it starts to have so many characters, it's like, okay, who are we talking about? Who is this? And it takes you about half the story to figure out who the heck you're talking about. And it's like, okay, we're talking about, the vagina again. This is this character, or we're talking about seeing death. This is this character, and What would y'all do? Like if you were Floor and you could see the timeline of when people, or you could just feel that people are gonna die, like I don't know. Would you tell
Big
people? Like
no.
that would be,
That would be a big burden for you to keep on your shoulders and not burden anybody else with.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would be
I think that I
stressful.
would be just more intentional with those people.
And
Like
how
if
you
I
act and
knew,
spend time with them,
yeah.
you know it's coming. Yes.
And then they would know it's coming. They would know.
Necessarily.
Yes, look, you spending
She
more
ain't
time with
been
me. What's
spending
up?
time with me. She ain't been spending time with me. Uh-oh.
Right. Like, what's happening? We're throwing a family gathering for what? It's not Christmas, Thanksgiving, none of that. What's happening? Yeah, I would hate to have that stress of just knowing when your loved ones and people around you are gonna pass away. That would be super stressful. And even knowing yourself, like, okay, I have to throw a party on this day because I'm not gonna make it to the next day. Like, everybody come celebrate me. And then she's not telling anybody what's really going on. So it's like they have a feeling, but they don't know at what moment is this gonna happen.
When
She
it
probably
finally
felt like it was
happened,
gonna-
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Which,
I was just gonna say she probably felt like it was gonna take away from the celebration if she like
Mm-hmm.
told them what she saw. So she
that's true.
just wanted them to celebrate her and
Hmm.
just have a good time.
Yep.
And that really would have turned into a wake.
Right.
Right. Everybody be all sad and
Mhm.
whatever. Just let them enjoy the moment, what it was. So
Yeah. But when it finally happened, her turning on the, like, acting like she was going to take a bath and all of that. I was saying to myself, girl, why did you turn this water on? Like, you turn this water on and walked away. Like, it's happening. What are you
right.
Hmm.
I really liked Yadi and Anthony's story, just kind of because it extended like throughout the whole book. We couldn't figure out why he was in jail. We knew he was out, came back, but it was like, what happened? What tore y'all apart? So I liked how it kind of pieced itself together, and then finally it was like, oh, you went to jail for this reason, and you're getting into trouble, and you did this, and so you could see she still had a little bit of bitterness towards him, like you did this and you ruined what could have been.
And she got
Um,
jealous when he told her about the girl that
mm,
when she started writing him and everything. I'm
yep,
like,
his little pen pal.
right, but you didn't write him, so why are you getting jealous? But I like
Right.
the story. I like the story.
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't visit him, or she visited, was it once that she visited him and then never came back, or she didn't, he would write her. I know she didn't write back, but that was complicated.
Yeah.
But I felt bad. I was like, they seem like they're such a good fit for one another. But, so such is life, right?
I was also
Such is
happy that it was Yuna, right? That she did not sleep with her ex-girlfriend because it was very shaky for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she about to cheat on her husband. And
right.
I do not want this as part of the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Their mom, I didn't like their mom, but I feel like, of course, I would need more backstory on why she was the way she was. But their mom made me mad. I was so upset with her throughout that book. Some of the
You
things those girls went through.
you
Oh,
said you
yeah.
didn't like their mom. I don't think they liked her either.
They probably didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
it,
Pastoria, her story was real
Yeah.
heartbreaking to me, being sent off like that. And I had
Yeah.
to think for a second because I'm like, Black Cake is still kind of in my head too. And I'm like, these families are weaving. Am I in the right story?
It also
But
seemed to me like they didn't speak up for themselves enough. They were so
yeah,
afraid of their parents that they didn't speak up. She could have explained the story, or she should have been able to explain the story. She didn't. She just went with what was happening.
and which sister was it? Was it Flora that went and saved her?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it was the mom's sister that she went to stay with, right? I
yeah,
Yeah.
think, and who was also I think that the mom came from some trauma herself. And she was
Probably.
probably like mean and abusive on the low. So they probably did not know how to break through, how to have a breakthrough with her to be honest about whatever may have been happening. Some people just keep it in because of how the mom probably wouldn't have believed her. You saw how easily she was like, okay, well, you need to go off and, you know, go away for whatever reason. So I think that
That
may
was
have
so sad to me how she was treated, and it's just like the fact that I just can't even imagine. Like, I mean, I guess that was a thing, but it was to just be able to give my children away and be like, here, you need the help, like go over here, and you're basically a living slave, like you're cooking and cleaning and doing all of these things. It was heartbreaking to hear that.
Now, was Yachty and Anthony, were they cousins or something? What was their deal?
They were dating, right? When they were
dating.
teens, it was like they were in love,
Yeah.
and he went to jail. For how many years? How long was it before
18 years.
Yeah. But they were teens.
But Talisha, I can understand why you would think that, because the setup for them in the beginning was like, okay, well, what are y'all to each other?
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah. They ended up having this like romantic, like teenage love type thing. And what was it that he beat somebody up
Mm-hmm.
and ended up going to jail for it? Yeah. So it just kind of, their dreams of being together and all of that got ripped apart because of this act of violence that just ruined his life.
But why didn't Anna want her to sleep with him? I mean, I was in and out the story, but I thought there was something else there.
Because she has some mental health issues.
Yeah, she suffered from anxiety, I think it was. She took medication for it.
Yeah, and I think it was anxiety. Yeah.
I think
So
she
I think
knew
it was more like
the hold it would have over her if she slept with him.
Yes, she'd fall deep again because you could already tell that there was something there. She hadn't completely let it go, so it's like you fall down that rabbit hole again. It's gonna be some problems.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the book?
What about the one sister? Was it Flora? Which one had fell in love with their cousin? I can't remember which sister it was.
I thought it was Yachty. I thought it was Yachty.
It was one of the sisters.
It's one of the sisters.
Was
Yeah.
it Pastora? Because wasn't that why they
why she went away? Because that little boy kept coming over, and the dad was like not having it. And he didn't come around for years.
No,
it's two separate sisters. Yeah.
Matilda.
Flora.
But
it was
either Flora or Pastora. I can't remember.
So Pastora got sent away because of the lady accusing her of stealing. So it must have been Flora.
It was Flora.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
That was interesting. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I think that Matilda, like that she never got to, well, I guess at this point in her late age that she finally gets to live her dream of being a dancer, or just not even it's maybe not even just being a dancer, but she at least gets to explore that interest that she has, because her mom was like, no, you need to go be somebody's wife, and you can't have this life. I'm just happy that she is set up to have a better life now. And when she threw that man's clothes over the fire escape or whatever,
yeah,
I was so happy.
Yes. I thought it was very interesting that although the mom knew, well, not really, because the mother wasn't kind to them at all, but I just thought it was very interesting at the time that the mother wanted Matilda to stay with the husband and work it out rather than leaving. She should have left a long time ago because he was treating her like dirt.
Renee, do you see Nicole?
Yeah, I see her in there.
I think the mom, I guess we got to consider the age. It was almost like, listen, you need to go get married because I'm not about to keep taking, you can't live in this house. I can't have a quote unquote old maid, because that's what they called them back then.
Yeah.
Still living, unmarried.
But she got nicer when it was Camille and she needed her.
Mm-hmm.
Camilla, whatever her name is.
Right. Interesting. Nicole, I know I just finally let you in here. I don't even know, did you finish the book? I know you were not there yet.
No, I'm not there yet, but I will be finished by tonight.
Mm. Okay, so what are your thoughts so far?
I like it. It's different. I feel like because I just finished reading some other Hispanic heritage books, they kind of like, I'm not saying that they follow a pattern, but they do a lot with the family and the matriarch, and then the kids have to take over. So it keeps me in that same flow. So I really like what's happening. I can't wait to see what happened with. I caught a glimpse of what was just said about the sister and the husband because, I want to fight this husband so bad. I feel so bad for the sister. I feel so bad for her.
Me
So that's
too.
the one I can't wait. But I'm scared of Flora. I don't know if I would want to have the gift to know when people are going.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about that. I was like, how would you feel if you had that power? And like, would you tell people if you knew that they're gonna die? Like, are you gonna tell them?
I, you know, I don't know if I would tell them, but I would think they would probably figure it out if I'm like trying to spend all the time in the world with them.
Yeah.
That's what Bernadette said
Yep.
verbatim.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Especially if it's somebody I love, I'm gonna be up on them every 5 seconds. Like, where you going? What you doing?
Right.
So maybe if it's somebody I hate, I'll be like, girl, you finna die on Tuesday.
Oh,
So I don't know, but I don't think I would want that. I don't.
no.
Any
This
other
was
thoughts?
Elizabeth Acevedo's. I was on a chat that she was on. This is her first adult book, and she did say, I heard somebody, she did say she's gonna go and do more adult books as well as more young adult.
Yeah, I'd love to see more from her.
Yeah, I've never read a book of hers that I didn't like, and her
I
voice
think
is everything.
yes, that's what I
Oh,
said.
girl, she said the ABCs to me, and I'm like, oh, this is really good.
Yes, I love her voice.
Kind of
I
like
think
our guy, who narrates the essay.
Oh, Adam Lazar.
Adam Lazar.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love
This
that.
book, like the story, I kept thinking about it after I finished it because there were so many things to think about, but the two thoughts I had were like how each sibling experiences their parent in a different way. Like I even think like my siblings are 6 and 8 years older, so like I got a different like set of parents. It was different.
Probably more laid back, huh?
Oh, absolutely. But also I didn't make any trouble because I saw like what they did and I learned.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting to think about that and how like the mother like was she was different with each child, but definitely softened probably out of need, as she got older, or even just taking in. She took it. Was it Yachty that summer? Like after Anthony went away, and
Oh,
the connection that they had, like
Mm-hmm.
so that was interesting, and it just made me think about also the things that we inherit, like consciously or unconsciously, like in like through our ancestral line, and how each generation like is impacted by the choices that you make or the things that you're doing with them or how you're parenting them. So I just thought about it for like a long time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's only my second read. I know I have some of her other books too. I just haven't gotten around to them, but I do need to go circle back and what am I missing? Clap When You Land. And what's the other one? I read Poet X, but
When the fire's on high.
Yeah.
yes.
Clap When You Land is my favorite. I
it
love that
is
she
so good.
wrote it in prose. It's just a quick read. I
Mhm.
absolutely love that.
I'll probably go with that next.
Yeah.
So I do. There's just so much to read and just so little time. It's like
I know, right?
I used to plan out my reads like each month, but now I just kind of go with like
I
whatever
go
feeling.
whatever becomes available on Libby, which right now I had to put my phone on, my iPad on airplane mode. I had
Too many checked out.
too many. It's probably about to be on airplane mode for like 3 months.
I'm into these like domestic thrillers. That's been and I guess because it's October now, I'm just kind of trying to get into that spooky I like thrillers. That's something that I learned this year, that thrillers really haven't been my thing. It's usually historical fiction, historical romance, or just contemporary romance, and those are pretty much what I stick to. But this year I started like the Violin Conspiracy and just different things. And what's the other one? Salisha, what's the other one that you like?
The Weight of Blood.
What did you say?
The Weight of Blood.
Not The Weight. Did I read that one? Yes, The Weight. Um, oh my gosh, I can't think of
Razor Blade Tears.
Thank you. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I can't think of him for to save my life, but I've read what, two of his books and stuff like that. So this year it's just been like these thrillers. I'm so engaged with them. So now I'm reading The Arrangement. Have y'all read that one? The Arrangement, and then The Amendment. I'm on the second book in that series. So yeah, I guess I like seeing crazy couples and what's going on in their lives. Verity, I think, actually is probably what started it for me, reading that. Good old Colleen Hoover.
I haven't had a Coho book in a while.
Yeah, I'm kind of off that Coho train because the other ones were just okay. They weren't like, oh my God, but I'm starting to branch out into other authors that I'm finding enjoyable. So,
Read Layla?
who?
Layla.
Oh, by Coho? No, I have it though, but I have not read it. Is
So
it
that
good?
might be something good for October. It's a very slow start, but it's creepy and it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's the
very
stuff.
creepy. You just got
That's
to
the
get to the
stuff.
slow start and you're good.
Yeah, that's the stuff I like. And I also, as a library hold, I put Jackal on hold, so I know that I'm coming up with. I have the ebook, but I'm waiting on the audio, and I know I'm like it's coming up, so I know it'll hit Libby at any given moment. So I'm kind of just coasting through that. And Revive Me. I think I'm gonna. A lot of people have talked about that book, so I think Revive Me is gonna be next. I'm going to Nashville on Friday, softball tournament, so I think that'll be a good one to drive and listen to.
With the kids?
To Nashville? Well, I no, see, I listen to my AirPods. I put no. There's gonna be four other people in the car, so I'm not gonna be listening to it out loud. I'll put my AirPods in one ear and
Okay.
listen to it. Yeah, mind you, they'll have their AirPods on in the car and not pay me a damn bit of attention. But yes,
I
no,
was concerned.
my boyfriend and mom will also be in the car too. So no, I'll have my AirPods in while I'm driving.
I was like, not the twins. Please don't do that
No,
to
that
them.
happened with what was that book that we read? Oh my God.
The you made a death a fool of me.
That
You
first
made a
damn
fool out of
line,
Death with your
I
baby.
had that on my Bluetooth in the car, and that first damn line of that book, and I was like, oh my God, turn it off. I was like, oh my God, what did I just walk into? So yeah, most times I have my AirPods on deck so that I can just plug in and not be bothered and bother them because you're doing too much. But yeah, a lot of people have talked about Revive Me, so I have like a list of books that I am trying to check off, so that's on there, and I'm so indecisive. I don't know what. Yeah, like I feel good. I don't even know, y'all can't see that because it's doing too much, but you can see like I'm starting to work through this list, but there's still a ton of stuff on there that
Yeah. Did you do White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson?
we did that. Did we
We
do
did
that
that.
as a book club read?
I don't
No.
know all my books.
No, we
Notes.
did The Weight of Blood, but I did read White Smoke. That was good. I like that. But
I'm
yeah,
trying
if y'all have
to
more thrillers to come my way, I like historical fiction too. Like that, spookiness of what was that book that I read? It was the one that Kim recommended to us. I'll find it. And also there's one coming out, Reformatory. I have it somewhere, the physical copy, but that's supposed to be one that either comes out this month or next month. And I think it's historical fiction, but it's gonna be a good spooky one.
I just finished I'd Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, even the title is a lot, but it was good.
Yeah.
It's different from what I liked it. I didn't know that I was gonna like it, and it threw me off because I did the audio book, and like I should have known that there was gonna be a creepy voice, but it happened earlier than I was ready for.
Yeah.
But it was good.
What's it about? Like, is it or what is that considered a thriller or is it like
I would
fantasy?
consider it a thriller. I think it's kind of like a villain origin story.
Okay.
And a young Black woman in the ballet and what
Oh
deal she
wow.
makes with what entity to stay there.
Wow.
I saw that somewhere. I added it to my TBR.
Yeah, it was
My
the video.
long TBR.
Yeah, I sent it because my friend sent it to me, but I didn't read it.
Okay.
What's the name of it?
I feed her to the beast, and the beast is me.
Oh.
I think it's
I feel like
Jameson
it was just
Shea.
a Kindle deal, and I looked at it and was like, I think
You passed it, didn't you?
I passed.
It always happens.
Because I said, well, this looks very scary. Let me just keep moving.
Yeah, I'm a seasonal reader, so it's like whatever comes around, there's certain things. Beginning of the year, you'll find me reading more memoirs and motivational stuff to kick off the year, and then like Black History Month, I'll still like find more historical things to read or historical fiction. I go through my little patterns, and then summer it's usually mostly romance. It's weird. When the Reckoning Comes, that's the one that Kim had recommended to us that I read. It was pretty good.
Oh yeah,
It's the Wedding on the Plantation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. The Wedding on the Plantation.
And she's like the only Black friend, right? Or something like that when she's on there. It's been a minute,
Yep.
but it's interesting.
When I got in a couple of pages and I DNF'd that book.
Oh, just a couple pages? You didn't get to enough.
I don't like scary. I don't like thrillers. I don't like that kind of stuff. So I was like, this is not for me. Let me keep it moving.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Go ahead.
Did anybody read The Jackal?
That's what it's on next on my list. It's coming. I have it on hold and I should have it within the next week or so.
Let me know what you think. I'm not gonna say nothing because I don't want to persuade you either way.
Yeah, I've got it. I have the physical copy, but I have the ebook as well, but I'm waiting for the audio, so I'll probably read it within the next week or so when it becomes available.
Did you read, or I'm not sure if this was a previous book club, read possibly 40 Acres? It's kind of old.
I read it with my boyfriend and I last
Mhm.
year read it together, and that was
that's a good
that was
I would
mind
highly
blowing
recommend
actually.
that one if you have not read it.
To
Oh,
think
you know
that's
what?
something.
He has another book. I want to say it's called The Unkind Hours or something like that. But it will trigger, like, you got to be ready because it deals with like a child being murdered. It's so good. It's so good.
I have to look at that because I love 40 Acres. That was so good. I love
it was so different and unexpected.
Yeah, it was
40 Acres. That whole premise.
Yeah, I'm like, for those of y'all who don't know, it's like this Black guy who's, I guess, initiated into this society of, I guess I want to say rich friends, but they own a plantation, but it's all but all of the slaves are white people. So it's interesting, but yeah, you have to read it. But it's like they take him to this secret location. I think he was even like maybe blindfolded or something. He has no idea where it's located. Like, yeah, but he's out on this like plantation that they own, the black men that he's with, and they have like it's all white people that are manning the plantation. They're slaves.
I struggled with that premise at first when I first started reading it, but it is a good book.
It is.
It's really well written.
Yeah, I struggled with it at first too, and then I was like, "Oh my God, this was different." It was a good book. It was different.
I'm excited for that Jordan
library. So I'm like, damn it.
I'm excited for that Jordan Peele one to come. I know I have the physical copy coming.
I don't know if I can do it.
I can't. Oh man, listen.
Okay, so you're not going to believe this, but I downloaded it yesterday from the library
because you were the main one talking about him.
I know, but it was there.
Right.
You know how I am about new releases. So I have friends who are like horror fanatics. Like they saw an advanced screening of that new Exorcist movie and all kind of crazy stuff. So I was like, they were talking about The Exorcist in our group chat, and I was like, well, look what I downloaded, but I don't know if I'll read it. And one of my friends was like, it's not scary, scary. She was like, it's more like thriller type and social kind of, like Jordan Peele's movies. So they're not scary, scary, but it's like some kind of social premise or something. So I told her I would give it a try. So we'll see.
It's actually funny to me that it took me this long to realize that I love thrillers and scary, like things like that, because when I think back even to college, like my favorite movie was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I would literally watch that on a weekly basis. So I've just always been a true crime junkie, watching Snapped, watching, Jeffrey, like documentaries galore. This is all I watch is true crime. And now, like I've been the past couple of days, I'm like, am I crazy? Am I psycho? Why do I enjoy this stuff so much? Because my boss put me on the other day. I was in the office and she was like, "Oh, you need to go to Max and watch this Signs of a Psychopath." And it used to be on the ID channel, but there's 6 seasons of it, and I'm literally still on the first. But every episode, they're probably no more than like 30 minutes long, but every episode is of this just psychopath who is in the interview room. They're caught and they're just talking about their murders and how much they enjoy it and stuff. But then there's also psychiatrists that are like analyzing what they're doing, what they're saying, but it's called Signs of a Psychopath, and there's 6 seasons of it. And that's like what I've been lost in the past 2 days now. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Am I crazy? And I'm like, no, because when I watch what they're saying, like I feel some type of way, like who does that? So I'm like, I'm not that crazy, but I still enjoy like diving into people's minds and like why are they doing this? A lot of them, a few of them are like kids, just their parents are just so strict on them and they end up murdering them for whatever reason.
It's an author, Erica got me hooked on her, Loreth. I might be saying her name wrong, Loreth Ann White or whatever. Something has to be mentally demented with this lady because her books, every time I read them, I'm always like, where does she get this from? Where? And she writes about these towns in Canada, and it makes you never want to go back to Canada again. But the first one I ever read was called Beneath Devil's Bridge. And she said that she drew from an actual crime. And it was crazy. And I've been reading her books ever since. And every time I can go crazy.
But you know who else does that? Tiffany D. Jackson does that. Like a lot of the stuff that she writes about is true stuff that's happened.
Yes. So check her out for thrillers and stuff. But every time I read one of her books and I go to work and I work with a lot of white people, I'll be giving them the side eye like, y'all
have y'all read The Perfect Marriage?
I loved it. Loved it.
I just finished that probably last week or the week before, but yeah, that one was good too. That twist at the end, I was just like, what? And same thing with the Arrangement. If y'all haven't read that one, that's a twist like you just don't see coming. These people are crazy.
I actually have nothing on Libby right now, so I feel like I need a whole lot of books. I have
What?
nothing.
Yeah, you better start checking stuff out. I try not to check out stuff too, because then they all come at once, and I was like, "There's no way." But I like that they have that new option where you can like push it back or whatever, and you can select how many days. So I do that a lot of times and just kind of try to figure out what I want to read instead of just losing the hold altogether.
Yeah, and the earliest I'm going to get a book is in 7 weeks for One Summer in Savannah. So I don't have nothing.
I feel like I have that one. Wasn't that on sale on
I think that's the one that Kim was like.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on. It was an ebook deal not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't have nothing. I'm the opposite of Asia. I have nothing.
So I have I don't know how many hold requests. I don't know how many long. Thank goodness I don't use my iPad like that. Again, I could just turn it off for months on end with like literally, I probably have 3 or 4 books.
Wow. Just holding.
It is
smart
what it
is. I just finished, it's not scary or a thriller, but I just finished reading the book One Blood. That book is really, 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 really good.
I've heard good things. I have a hold on.
I have a hold on that one too. I've heard
One Blood.
Is it Hannah Miller?
Yes. Danae or something like that. Yeah, Danae Milner.
Good, yeah.
think I have it somewhere. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can find it.
What's it about?
Yeah, it starts out in the South where this this grandmother's raising her child. There's a lot of drama that happens. She's a midwife. She's a midwife, and I think she does something where I think the white woman was cheating on her husband, and her job is to protect the child at all costs. So they ends up throwing her in jail because she falsified the records. And I guess the white folks got her for not keeping their bloodline pure. She goes through a whole lot of drama. She's moved to her aunt eventually. She ends up in the end, after a whole lot of other drama, she ends up pregnant. Her mean, yeah, that's it. Her mean aunt acts like she's being kind to her when the baby is born. I don't know what she gives her or what she does, but she took that baby and said she was going to clean it up. And then she actually took that baby and got rid of it, sent it off to be adopted or whatever. So then that whole drama stops with who the people that adopted her, and there's just a whole lot of really good drama there too. All the way in is really good.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I've heard great things, so I've got that one, the ebook, on hold.
But if you got the actual book, why do you have it on hold?
I don't like reading the physical copy. I will never. So the only reason I own physical copies, true story, the only reason I own physical copies is because it looks great for Book Girl Magic when I photograph photos and put them on Instagram. Okay. I hate reading physical copies. Like I have to have an ebook. So most times I will have 3 copies of the same book because I'll have the ebook, the audiobook, and the physical copy. But yeah, I can't.
Wow. Okay.
I'm the same.
And plus,
I actually bought a book yesterday at a class just because she was there and to get her to sign it. Yeah. But I'm going to buy the ebook before I start reading it.
Yeah. And my next house, I plan to have a library of some sort. So all of these books will get displayed on a shelf and they'll be beautiful. But my format of reading is I'll do the ebook and the audiobook simultaneously. And that's just because I can read from my phone. Like if I just want to pull out my phone in my back pocket and I'm in the grocery store standing in line, I can just it's just that simple. I can just, I like it. And also if you are doing an Audible book and the ebook, it syncs up. So I could listen in the car to the audiobook and then open up the ebook when I get home, and then it'll be like the last page you left off of was blah blah blah, and it'll match up with the audiobook. So it's a lot of reasons why I prefer, but yeah, that's what I do. I get up in the morning and I just scroll through my phone, get my little Kindle badge for the day, get my few pages in, and call it a day. So yeah, you'll never see me with a physical book in my hand ever. Wow. In most cases, unless it's just if it's the book of the month and
can show it.
That's it. Photographically, it's beautiful. But other than that,
do you care whether or not it's the paperback or the hardback? You don't care.
I like hard copies, but it doesn't really matter to me. It's because I know that I'm physically not gonna be holding this heavy book or even a paperback. I know I'm not gonna be holding it, reading it. So my e-reader has probably, last time I checked, it was maybe close to 900 and some odd books, maybe something like that.
I know mine got hundreds of books on it.
It's ridiculous, to be honest with you. I have an addiction. I don't even know how to find, my library. Let me see. Okay, well, it's a little more than that. Oh, okay. It says that it's 931 books, but then there's 300 documents, which I know are from publishers giving me early ALCs, ARCs. I can't. Anyways, the ARCs are what's on here for 300 docs. So yeah, I have 1,152 unread documents and books on my Kindle. Sad.
If you have Kindle Unlimited, One Blood is free in Kindle Unlimited to read. I just got it.
They must have just put that on there.
Look, you getting excited? Yeah,
I was looking for it a little while ago, maybe a week or so ago.
I don't know if I can justify Kindle Unlimited yet. I really don't.
I love
But if you have Prime, like I don't buy Kindle Unlimited, but every once in a while they'll give you a deal, get 3 months for free. I always sign up then, and then on that last day you get rid of it because I think it's a lot to pay for. Plus, I'm doing Scribd and Audible. I know I gotta dump one of them, but
yeah,
I
that's
don't
me
need all
too.
three of them.
I have Libby, I have Scribd, I have the
my Kindle Unlimited is where I get all of my good thrillers.
Yeah.
All your good what?
Thrillers.
Yeah.
Oh, thrillers.
Y'all not about to convince me to buy
I do all of those and only Kindle Unlimited because I forgot to cancel it and I ended up liking it. So, but I also do Scribd, I do Audible, I do.
Y'all saw that post I made about Scribd and the changes that are coming to it. It's gonna be Everlast or Ever something. It's gonna break into 2 platforms now. So they'll send us an email when it actually does, and of course I'll make the announcement too. But yeah, I'm hoping because Scribd is so I hate it as an Audible platform, but for the books that you can get and the cost, that's why I keep it. But like when my books won't start, it has trouble catching up in streaming, and then sometimes I'll be so far into a book I have to bookmark like every time I stop it because otherwise next time I open it it's like back at chapter 1 at the beginning of the book. So I'm hoping with them splitting platforms and doing what they're doing, this means the Audible is going to be, the audio portion is going to be so much better than it is because I'm like, come on, man. I deal with it because it's cheap, but
yeah. And plus, when you can't find a book, when you can't get a book from the library and you can't, and then you don't want to buy it because it costs too much, then Scribd is great.
Yeah. I like it. And the only thing I wish is that they had the ability to like send the ebooks to, devices, or even if it was an iPad, I guess you could use the app on the iPad and use the ebook if they have it. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah. There's a comment in the chat. Let me see. Oh, Amy. I feel like I'm the only one that still reads physical books. I applaud y'all because my attention span won't allow me to do the audiobooks. It definitely takes practice. I won't lie. There's definitely many times where I'm rewinding. I'm in the car and I just get distracted for 15 seconds. I'm rewinding, but I feel like I get like I'm already at 54 books for the year, but I've done every single book, ebook and audiobook. But when I can't pick up that book and I'm driving 40 minutes to work, I'm cutting down 40 minutes of that audiobook or that book because I'm listening to the audio. So maybe try it simultaneously. Like if you enjoy reading the book, listen to it at the same time. I've got to find one that you might find interesting.
I listen and read at the same time. And to me, it makes my books go faster, like I read faster.
That's exactly why I do it.
I love buying my books. I buy plenty physical books, and then I go into Libby and find the ebook, and I'll have it in my physical copy, or I'll get the audio or the ebook, however I can do it, but I like to do them both.
That's exactly
with family because I think that's what's taking me so long, because then I go call my daughter and be like, translate this Spanish for me.
Right. And that's me. I know I'm a slow reader, so audiobooks help keep me at a good pace with the book. Like I can just sit there and listen to it. If I'm in the mornings, I do sit down and read, but when the kids' alarms go off and I know it's time to make lunches and get people ready, I can still listen to it while I'm doing things for them. So I actually end up knocking out about a good 40, 45 minutes of the book just in my daily routines each morning. So, there's some books that take me longer than others just because it's not capturing me like some, but yeah, it helps keep me paced at a good pace, which is why I'm able to get so many. I'm trying to break my record this year. 58 is the most I've read in a year, and I'm at 54 right now. So I'm trying to see just how much I can read.
Amy, try a memoir with an audiobook.
And we do Jada.
I don't read any memoirs. I listen to them because I feel like it's so, especially when the person who wrote it is reading it.
Yeah.
I love it. I listen to all of my memoirs.
Mariah Carey's is good. Will Smith is good. Viola Davis is good.
Billy Porter.
Yes, Billy Porter's
I
is
gotta
good.
do his.
I've already pre-ordered Jada's.
Trevor Noah.
Audible. Yes, Trevor Noah was good. I like the reason my top two would probably be Will and Mariah, and simply because the music that we love so much from them, they're actually singing those songs on it, or you get to hear it played, and it just adds entertainment value. One of them,
So
maybe it was Will's. His had sound effects.
I'm spoiled because of that. So when I read Tina Turner's book or listened to Tina Turner's book, I was like, I'm so bored. Who is this?
Yeah.
I don't even care what's going on now.
And depending on when that was written, because this new trend of memoirs and how they're written has really changed. Like Mariah Carey was one of the first for me where I actually heard singing, and then Will Smith's. I think his even had sound effects and things going on in the background. It was like it was cool to hear, all of that. And actually no, I take that back. Someone who Shonda Rhimes, if y'all read the Year of Yes, that's one of the first where she has a speech of hers inserted in there where she was doing the commencement speech, and she actually inserted the actual speech, and I was just like, wow, that was kind of cool to hear her actually say it. And that one's been out for a while, but that was one of the first like that. And yeah, if especially memoirs, try that first, Amy. If you're gonna do one, try the memoir and listen to it and read it at the same time, and I think that will capture your attention. Hearing them in their own voice read it to you is game changing.
Do you all plan to read Kerry Washington's memoir?
Read it last week.
How was it?
It was good. It was good. I've heard, I enjoyed it personally. A lot of people, she's a very private person. A lot of people wanted her to kind of dig deeper into her life and stuff like that. But for me, just being a fan of her movies, Scandal, I've watched every episode and season of that. So for me, even just to get an inside look on those shows and what was going on, that was enough for me to hear about her life. But you also, learn about her parents and where she came from, and there's a lot going on there with her parents and stuff, but I felt like it was a good read. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't the best memoir, but it was enough for me to say that I enjoyed it and learn more about Kerry Washington than I otherwise wouldn't have known. So
I gave it 4 as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was good for the same reasons.
Yeah.
I didn't really look for her to dig like deep into. I guess I don't look for any of them to dig deeply into. Give me the tea, give me the tea, give me the tea. Just give me a little bit of tea, but
yeah. I don't know why we think that we're so entitled to get into their personal business when you wouldn't want them to know half of yours.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, for me, someone had shared a meme with me yesterday that, like, they were so bored in reading Kerry Washington's book. And I'm like, at the end of the day, this is her life, her life story. If you wrote your life story, would you like it if somebody said, oh, I'm bored to death? This is her life story. If it's not up to you to like it, this is just her telling how she grew up, how she lives her life or whatever. It's just like, it's their life story. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to judge someone who's telling their life story. Like, this is just, it is what it is. You get what you get.
I think that's why I don't expect just tell me every single thing you ever went through and give me all your business and all that, because like Bernadette said, we're not entitled to that.
Right.
So if they decide to tell me about their life and how they are, it kind of just feels like you're having a conversation with them in the living room.
Yep. And like I said, she's so private. It was just like any little nugget that she could give us, even just hearing about her career, because yes, I followed her when she was Chanel on Save the Last Dance. That's when she she was on my radar. And so that's one of my favorite movies. Like, even just hearing about her getting that part and the role and everything that surrounded it, like, to me, that was enough. Like, just to hear, Django Unchained and all of those movies that she's in, and how she's like, basically, if I'm your wife in a movie, it's gonna win you an award. That's basically where she came from. She's like, anytime I play somebody's wife, I'm on Ray, Jamie Foxx, like, she's just like, you're gonna win an award. And it was kind of funny because it's like, that's true. Like, she's played, the wife of so many, but I felt it entertaining just to kind of get an inside look on her career and her come up.
I think when people are younger and they write memoirs, like I read Taraji P. Henson, I read Gabrielle Union, I don't think they really give that much because they're still, I don't want to say living life because they still have to give, and I feel like they're probably going to write another book later.
Well, you see Gabrielle Union.
When we read Cicely Tyson, she gave us all, because not saying like she knew she was going to pass away, but it was like she lived this long life, so now she could give us more and more and more. But I just want to know about Carrie West. Did she talk about her kids? Like, I've never seen her kids at all.
Slightly.
I figured she was gonna still keep that part private.
Yeah, for the most part. It was interesting to me that she had bought a home and literally was like going through a walkthrough. They hadn't even moved in yet. They were in the backyard and paparazzi caught her on camera with her daughter, I think it was. They couldn't even move into the house. She had to sell it because they knew where she lived. Like, can you imagine? Like, so I get why she's trying to keep her, kid's life private and stuff like that. But she gives us very little bit when it comes to her husband and her kids. But to me, it was still fascinating to just learn about her career and, even like with Scandal, like, not many people know that the footage that when they're on the balcony of the White House, like how she got that footage, she had a good relationship with the Obamas and, she was on the board. And so she got that footage for them. Like, they were able to do the green screens and kind of have that, but nobody had ever been out there before. Or actually, other TV shows, she said, mimics it, but nobody actually had the actual footage of the balcony from the White House, and they got that for Scandal. So that was pretty cool. Just learning little tidbits like that. That's interesting to me. You're sharing something that I don't already know. And for me, I love that. Yeah. Can't imagine writing a book about my life and somebody telling me, "Oh, I'm bored." Like, screw
me and Kim have been bragging on. Kim and Keela have been talking about Sheila Johnson's book. It is so good.
So I have Deborah's, and I'm going to read that one first, and then I've got the other one on hold too. So I'm hoping, because y'all have talked it up, I'm like, oh, I've got to read.
They're both good. They're both good. Yeah.
Deborah who?
Deborah Lee.
Deborah Lee. Okay.
From BET.
I know that should be interesting. Her
both of their stories messing with the same guy, so it's like interesting to hear their perspectives.
Oh,
I need to see if Deborah Lee's is on. I don't think it's on Libby for me. Oh, it is. Oh, and it's available. Look, I'm like, it's available. Both the audio. I have the audiobook because Libro FM gave it to us as an influencer thing, but the physical book is available right now without.
Okay, and what's the name of the other person? You said Deborah Lee
and Sheila Johnson.
Sheila Johnson.
So Sheila Johnson was Bob Johnson's wife, and she's the co-founder of BET.
Okay, Deborah Lee.
And so her story, it starts from she was in like it starts from when she was in high school and goes all the way through, I would say maybe a few years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
But really going into the startup of BET and just how involved she was, and that marriage with Bob was, and Deborah, yeah.
See, y'all gonna have me jacked up reading this. I was gonna read Revive Me, and now
it was good.
Deborah Lee. I Am Deborah Lee is gonna be next. I'm glad y'all talked about that so I could check Libby, because I have Sheila's on hold for Libby, but I wanted to knock this one out first since it came out first.
How do you spell? Is it Debra?
Yep.
Oh,
I am Deborah Lee.
Okay.
I know you can't see my phone, but there it is.
Oh, I wasn't even looking. I was listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am Deborah Lee.
I see it. I see it. A place to hold. And what's the title of Sheila Johnson's book?
Walk Through Fire.
Walk Through Fire. Okay, thank you.
Short version of the title.
Look, my hold is still several months wait.
On Sheila's?
Yep.
Dang.
2 copies It's only at one of the 3 libraries I have. 2 copies, 31 people waiting in total, 16 people waiting per copy.
Well, you read your other book in the meantime.
Oh yeah, I am. I'll have a list. So that's kind of what I do. I have, a bunch of them on hold. If it comes, then I'll just kind of either delay it or I'll slip it in there. But yeah, that and then maybe Jackal will come after that. We'll see.
This is why I don't like y'all. I just got Deborah Lee too. Now, 16 books on my living shelf. I gotta read now.
It's ridiculous. It really is.
I have moved around 3 books on Libby to deliver later because
I love
have
that
other
option.
stuff that I'm reading. I do like that.
I love that option because instead of going to the back of the line and starting your hold all over again, it's like, let me just push it back like 7 days. I'll be done in a week, ready for it in a week or whatever.
And I used to just wait until I'm close to ready. Then I'm like, okay, now I have to wait 12 weeks for it. But when y'all told me about that,
yes,
later, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. That's like the best option. And sometimes I'll do book club holds like that. Like it'll come at the timing of it, it'll come just a little soon. I'm like, give it to me in 5 more days because I'm not ready to read it. But at the end of the month, I will be. So Family Lore actually became available for me to be able to do that last week.
I ended up having to buy that one because the library wait was just way too long.
I bought the physical copy, but I think it was sold out on Amazon when I went and I needed it. So I actually went to Book of the Month and I got my $10, when you start off. So I got it for $10 and then canceled the membership. And I'm like, thanks for the book. I got my little Book of the Month badge on the corner. I'm like, thanks for the $10 book. I needed it. It was a hard one to get at a reasonable price anyhow. Any other final thoughts before I close? My kids are on fall break officially now, so I've got to take one to a sleepover. Never ends. All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining. This was fun. Lots of good recommendations. Again, as always, my list keeps getting longer and longer. But hope y'all have a great night and thanks for joining.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Take care.
You too. See you guys next time.
Thanks. Good night, y'all.
Bye.